borders and immigration is definitely a big topic. I mean, Fortress Europe was one of the first, but you know, we did the track Coming Over Here with the comedian Stuart Lee. Same topic. It is very important. Is the world more divided? More or less are funny terms to talk about. I mean, you have to see this sort of like competing blocks of power in the world, you know. I think it's, I suppose in terms of quantity, there are more blocks of power that are counterposed to each other. For interesting, like if you take American capitalism or American dominated global capitalism, there are clear divisions amongst the ruling groups now, right? Say like Amazon or the digital capitalism is very much in conflict with, say, fossil fuel capitalism or real estate capitalism, right? Which is why it sort of seems like you've got this weird thing where the right wing are so against, you know, corporate companies for what they're calling woke philosophy. Do you know? You see what I mean? You got this weird, it's almost false opposition that's kind of partially real, because in the end, they will all support, you know, each other's desire to, you know, to expand the market, to exploit workers and what have you. But ideologically, their public face is very opposed to each other. Now that, I mean, that's a division that was not so apparent, say, 50 years ago, 30 years ago. You know, the corporate world was pretty much united in a public view of things, you see. But it's to do, I mean, this is why I've become I'm more of a Marxist than I've ever been in some aspects, because, you know, Marx said the economic base will, the crudest statement of Marxism is the development of the economic base will reflect in all the other institutions. And only a fool would say that the rise of digital capitalism has not changed pretty much everything, right? It has. It's changed the way we relate to each other. It's changed the way we consume. And it's certainly, we're in a situation now where existing institutions cannot cope with the new world that digital capitalism has put upon us. And that's why the political system seems so unstable, right? Or about to tip over. Trump and Brexit, all this stuff. It's because basically those institutions are being threatened. I mean, Trump was a product of reality television, okay? You know, the transgression, what you're rewarded for on reality television, right, is transgressive behavior. You know, if you watch Big Brother, I don't, but if you do, Big Brother or program, or it's all about the way you get noticed on reality television is by doing something awful, like having sex with someone while your boyfriend is watching on television or something. You know what I mean? That's what you get rewarded for on reality television. And what the elites in the existing institutions didn't understand is that could translate into politics. So Trump says disgusting, appalling things and stuff, and he gets rewarded for it. Right? You see what I'm saying? Right? The political institutions, the old political, cannot withstand this onslaught from a radical change in the way, you know, the economic base. It's classic Marxism, right? It's the bit I agree with. I see it like, you know, and the borders and, you know, the borders and immigration question is obviously directly related to that, you know, as money has less and less of a relationship to actual reality, right? I mean, to me, what defines capitalism is the fact that money does not actually represent the physical reality or the accumulation of physical things anymore. You can make money by destroying economies, right? You can make money by blowing up the world, you know. I mean, if you're invested in weaponry, you know, you can, and that with the rise of cryptocurrencies and things like that, that is even more intense. So, and also with climate change and the enormous swings, the speed of change in economies, right? And particularly the poorer economies that cannot withstand this constant flux, you know, this elite, this financial elite that basically fights amongst itself, like Elon Musk versus Twitter or what have you. I mean, the poorer countries are literally cannon fodder in this kind of constant game, you know, and you're going to get a greater need. You know, the more damage you do to the rest of the world, to the poorer parts of the world, the more people are going to want to leave, you know. And yet the more you know, political actors say, well, the big problem is people coming in from other countries, you know, even though they know full well that that's a response to the impact that global economic policies have on particular countries, you know.